Amy Seipel. She's a Kansas nurse, lives in Kansas or Harvey County. She's taking the State Board of Nursing to court in a case that raises a big question. Can a nurse lose their license simply for speaking publicly about medical topics? Her nursing license had lapsed for about 6 months last year while she stepped away from her career to care for her husband, who was battling cancer. And during that time, she gave speeches at conferences and senior centers on dementia, which is her area, she says, is her area of expertise. And now she's challenging the board's decision. Here's that interview with her. So, you being late is unprofessional, but there was also some other factors that they brought into that, right? As far as you were going out to senior centers?
Their complaint against me was that on my website, it lists that I spoke at conferences.
Oh, okay.
And so, and of course my attorney argues that it's a First Amendment right, anybody can speak at a conference. But that was, when my case recently was heard, was their complaint against me was that I spoke at conferences.
Can you share what you were talking about at those conferences?
A variety of topics. I'm a keynote speaker, so
Okay.
I spoke on communication and leadership and just a number of different topics that people have of interest. And I would say that when you're late renewing your payment, it doesn't mean that you have a brain dump.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that you forgot everything that you know and that you can't help anyone anymore. I also, I have volunteered a lot in speaking to caregivers of people with dementia. And so dementia's been one of my specialties, but senior centers will call me and say, we're trying to keep folks out of the nursing home, and I'll come and just volunteer and listen to their stories and guide them on how to care for folks with dementia.
Yeah.
And I was told by the Board of Nursing that that is something I could not do if I was not current with them,
Okay.
even if it's gratuitous.
So I guess in regards to that, do you believe that you put patients?
No patients were ever at risk.
Okay.
No patients were ever at risk. I did not have a brain dump. My license lapsed on May 31st of
Okay.
2024.
So last year.
Yes. My husband was diagnosed. Officially, the biopsies and everything came back showing that the cancer had escaped the prostate, was going down the nerves. I believe that was the 1st of June.
Oh, wow.
It was just right around that same time. And then he, or maybe, I'm sorry, surgery was in June. The dates are kind of, the surgery was in June. He stabilized, we saw the PSAs were coming down, and it was in October that I went on the Board of Nursing's website. And the truth was, it was kind of a time where I'm able to breathe a little bit. My husband's not out of the woods, but it's, he did well through surgery, and I've got some hope, and I'm ready to get back to work because I don't know what he's going to be able to do even. And so then I was trying to remember, did I renew my license or not? I've done it 15 times. But I just couldn't remember if I had or not during that time. It was just a blur. So I went on the board's website to check when my license was due before I started applying for jobs. And I was really surprised to see that I wasn't current. But to renew your license, I have to say you have to meet 3 criteria.
Okay.
You have to have a certain number of education hours, you have to have malpractice insurance, and you have to pay dues. So I always have way more education than I need, and so all of my education was current prior to the deadline. My malpractice has never expired, so the only thing I am deficient in is paying them on time. That's the only thing I'm deficient in, is paying them on time. So, there was a little less than a 5-month gap there, but I wasn't employed in practice either.
Yeah. So what does it look like when you're trying to renew your license, but it's lapsed? Is there a different process that you have to go through to renew it?
Yes. So I went on the website and I saw that it said that my license was withdrawn. I don't even understand why they said withdrawn instead of lapsed, but I read through the process of how to get current again, or I thought so. I emailed all of my my CEUs, my education hours, examples of that to them. I emailed evidence of my malpractice insurance that night, just immediately after I figured that out. And then I contacted them the next day And I just thought this would be, I would have a late fee. I mean,
Yeah.
I should have to pay a late fee. I thought I would have just a late fee. I had no idea. They said I needed to be disciplined.
Yeah.
Disciplined, and part of that discipline is a public shaming process in which they put you on 3 databases and label you with unprofessional conduct in perpetuity. They also put you in their newsletter, and they send it out to all the nurses in the state, labeling you as unprofessional.
So the nursing board tried to label you as unprofessional conduct when you tried to renew your license. What does that do to your nursing career?
It is incredibly destructive.
So the nursing board tried to have you sign essentially this guilty plea.
Yes.
You decided not to, though.
And I think I'm one of the first people that refused to sign it. I made them go to court.
Amy, it seems like this has really taken over your life these past few months, even year.
Over a year, yes.
How does that feel?
It's exhausting. It is exhausting. There have been so many times, honestly, that I just wanted to sign the consent agreement and move on with life. My husband has encouraged me. He said, do not grow weary of doing good. You need to take a stand. You're not going to be able to live with yourself if you just cave. And then once I started hearing the other stories of other nurses, I knew I couldn't cave.
Do you think that if you would have never made this decision to really essentially blow this up, that other nurses would have never came forward?
Nurses don't typically come forward, and at first I didn't either, because you're embarrassed. No one wants to be thought of as unprofessional. It's the worst insult you can give a nurse.
If this were, have you ever thought, like, what next if you do?
You know, I'm just, for the first probably 6 months, I lived in that state of what do I do next? Where, you know, what can I do? And trying to solve the problem on my own. This has been a really long battle, and learning to sort of let go. And my faith has carried me a long way. And just say, God, I know you have a plan. I just want to be obedient in that to whatever you have for me today. I have no idea what the future holds. I have no idea. If I end up having my license revoked, I doubt that would happen, but if that happened, life is going to be harder for me for sure. I wouldn't be able to be licensed as anything else in the state. I wouldn't be able to run for public office. My opponent, of course, would say, she's been labeled as unprofessional, you know, so that would eliminate those opportunities. I don't know, I'm getting good at gardening. You know, I don't know what the future holds. But I just...
Yeah, it would definitely look different.
Yes, but if the judge overturns my case and the Board of Nursing decides to accept that, well, then I can get back to work.